1. Welcome to the YCast, everyone. I'm your host, Malachi, and today we'll be talking about the Season 9 changes. Today I am going to be joined by...
Hey, Ray.
Jim.
Motork.
Alright. So, let's start with probably the most discussed of the changes in Discord and the forum, that being Power Body and whether or not it was going to be banned for Season 9 ongoing.
Okay.
Go ahead, Jim.
So, I know your view on it, and I know my view on it, and I think most people know our views on it. I don't recall what Motoric and Kay thought about it, so I kind of want to hear them first.
All right, I'll go first. I posted in the forums that I was not in favor of the ban because, as stats have proven, it didn't necessarily equal win. In fact, if anything, it made you more predictable if you relied on it. So, from that standpoint, I felt like it was a good, haha, I can get something out of you with the surprise ball, but it didn't let you rely on it consistently, which is what I felt the staff was worried about when they banned it. So, from that standpoint, I was kind of confused. But you had to go with the majority, and it was like 2/3 in favor of ban, so they had to go with the ban.
They also did a bunch of testing on top of it, out of majority, which luckily it wasn't just a majority vote.
Yeah, no, the book that Kyle wrote was ridiculous. He gave me all the explanation I needed. Didn't really change my opinion of it, but it gave me enough information to know that they really put their thought into it, and this is what they felt was best.
Motor?
Well, you already know my stance from it from before, where I felt like my team was basically cursed. Every time, that Power Body was placed on the enemy team, we struggled. Even despite the fact that we put, the appropriate counters when we predicted it. But, in all honesty, it was a prediction thing that, a lot of people did account for whenever they went into a match, and I felt like they're taking a bit of the prediction away by taking away Power Body. But I understand a lot of people's frustration that when a Power Body just, bodies another character and just ruins the whole plan. So I understand some people's point of view, but for me, I feel like it takes away from the prediction that you have to do when you're making a team.
Yeah.
So, that's my take on it.
And another thing that I thought of that I wasn't really touched on is that certain characters have people who automatically break Power Body. That is a natural advantage that they can't do anything to counter. For instance, GT Goku breaks Power Body. Kid Buu breaks Power Body. Aurelie breaks Power Body. Those teams really don't need to worry about Power Body as much because they're not like, oh, do we need to throw a 3-point Tatara on here? Because at the end of the day, they have someone who automatically breaks. So from that standpoint, I understand it a lot. And when I thought about that, it made it more reasonable to ban.
Yeah. So, for those who don't know, I was clearly the most vocal voice for getting rid of Power Body. So, just so passionately against it because of how frequently my team was just unable to handle it. And for those who don't know, I'm being incredibly sarcastic. No, I was very much for keeping Power Body. Just building off what Motork and Karen said, not the stats just aren't there to suggest that Power Body is giving too much for 4 points of your build. And I just, while I understand where the staff is coming from, I just don't think they really proved their case as it is.
I technically agree with all of you in a way, but I was always treading the line with this on both sides. It was never truly on either side because now I have a personal view on how I think Dragonball Z League could improve and get better. And that view is add more options, add more strategy, just give, yes, technically make people do more work. Some people don't like that. Some people get stressed out by that. Some people just don't have the time for that. And sometimes adding more options becomes a handful. From the stats perspective, I can't see. Like, I can't see what they see. I don't know all the work they do. They obviously do a lot of work, though.
Yeah.
So it ended up coming to, what does the staff view as too much work or too much risk for the strategy aspect of it? They ended up deciding Power Body gave too much risk in making the game unbalanced in any way, and I'm okay with that because they set up their own parameters, and they were the ones who put Power Body in season 6, I think, to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
My parameters are a little different. My way of testing it would have been a little different. I would have compared it to a comparable Patara. I would have used EL as the comparison, Eternal Life, because 4-point, one person per team can use it. I'm not saying EL's busted. Quite the opposite. I'm saying EL isn't busted. If Power Body can't even beat EL in terms of effectiveness, efficiency, whatever, it gives you some insight as to how good it really is. But it's that was my view. My view was just look at plainly how effective it is, and plainly does it improve the options and strategy. It also makes the game and the league more difficult to participate in certain ways. And that's a negative of its own, which I don't personally mind, but there are many who do. And that's enough for the staff to decide it's not a good Patara. Because at the end of the day, this is an entertainment thing. This isn't something to get super serious about. They don't want to scare people away by becoming super focused on the nitty-gritty. So I understand. I have no objection to what they to the decision that came to.
That is perfectly reasonable, and like I said, if I agreed with where the staff started from, like I would basically be on I'd be right there with them, saying it was the right choice to make. So, because they clearly put in their work and they got the numbers that as a Power Body is a powerful Patara, and it is that with the I like the way you put it, with the parameters that they went into to determine it. I think they made the right choice. I just think they used the wrong parameters. So, but
that's where a lot of arguments come from. You start from different positions. You like the metaphor I like to use is, you can say something's really far away from you, but that same thing may be close to someone else.
Yep.
In terms of like physical distance, because you're starting from different sides.
Yep. Yeah. So, does anyone else have any comments to add to that?
Nothing.
Yeah. Just one thing. Flight OP. Why hasn't it been banned?
Truth.
All right. Now on to probably the more exciting discussion ahead of us. We've joked about it for seasons, and now the reality is here. We have modders. For those who don't know, Orange has graciously spent a lot of time trying to figure out how to mod the game, and has done so. So there's a lot of things right here that will come up with that. And I think this is pretty much what we're going to be talking about for the rest of the time.
Modding. All the mods.
Yep.
And we have a modder, and Orange is going to hate the streams now, because it's going to go from, we need modders every time someone comes up with a stupid idea, to, Orange, get on that.
And he will get added
all the time.
Yep. So
He chose this.
This is his fate.
yep, this will be his fate. But let's start with the new free agents that we have. Starting with one of the terrors of the past, Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta, who is new to the league, except for the gauntlet. And he is now a free agent.
Can we go through all of them except for Sin Shenron at the same time? Because honestly, they all had the same mods on them,
Pretty
or
much.
similar ones.
Similar.
So the full list is Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta, Base Form Vegito, Super Saiyan Gogeta, and Super 17.
And Sin Shenron,
And-
we'll talk about him a little.
Yeah. So basically, what Orange did was he basically reduced damage for B2s to everyone there. And I think in a couple cases, and with Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta, he reduced the Ki Blast damage because it was
Oh,
quite
it was insane.
honestly insane.
It was
It was-
ridiculous.
It was like giving any of the Vegetas currently in the league Master Blast, but he doesn't need
With-
Master Blast.
With attack +2.
Yeah,
and
it
it
was
was
stupid.
so now
There's also Base Vegeta, which I think needed a key reduction, a key
Yes.
charge reduction.
I
So-
think Gogeta did as well, if I remember correctly.
yeah, at the very
Oh.
least, Base
Well,
Vegeta did because they specifically mentioned it with respect to his scatter finger beam was constantly being spammed.
Yeah, come on, Salza. Look what you could do.
Exactly.
No, the fact that Scatter Finger Beam might be the terror of the league next year fills me with joy.
Oh, and don't forget about Trap Shooter actually
Oh,
doing
boy.
work.
It's the character.
Yeah. That was for
Sin
who's that for?
Shenron has the
Sin.
new trap.
Oh, that's right. So yeah. So so like for Super 17, like his B2s got nerfed pretty hard.
It's almost like one of them was insane.
Yeah. And it's to the point where I can't imagine why anyone would want Super 17 on their team.
Don't listen to him. He wants him for cheap.
Yeah,
Super 17 is going to be top 5 in the league.
you
I-
do realize.
Go ahead.
No. You finish your thought.
Alright. I honestly could see the 5 new free agents minus Sin Shenron plus Nova being top 5 in the league.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a very high possibility.
That,
I want to say, as a plea to everyone watching this in the league, bid on Super 17 and make it as expensive as possible.
oh, I'm already
Ruin
planning on
Malachi's
dropping.
life.
I'm already dropping all of the Zenny on him. Like I've already told my team, like
And
everyone's
then Team Muscle,
authorized.
please pick him up because you have way more Zenny.
No, Muscle, you want Sen Shenron or Super Gogeta. You don't want 17. Let 17 come back home.
Afterlife. I have a proposition for you.
Anyway, alright. But anyway, so yes, as we were saying, most of it
Yeah.
was just like damage based. I don't think there was any modifications to B1s that are coming
No,
to
nothing
mind here.
No.
Just statistics until we get to Sin Shenron.
You're
Yeah.
right.
So
But anyway, I think that these characters, like I said, all have super high potential. I'm sure I won't see any of them. I would love to see one of them. But I think they all have a very niche role. I think that all of them have multiple facets where they could be successful, which is very important in
Oh,
this
yeah.
league. Flexibility kills.
oh yeah.
I definitely think all of them will at least be top 20. There's one, actually, this just popped to mind. There's one other thing about Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta, Vegito, and Gogeta. They are all on the banned list for. They're on the Vegeta
They're the-
list, where you
Yeah.
can't
Yeah,
have them and another Vegeta on your team because of the Rush Blast.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I think they said that cuts out like 4 or 5 teams that can't touch these guys.
Yeah, there's
Correctly?
4 to 5. I have a problem with that. There's already a good chunk of the strong free agents in the original pool that are taken out because they're Vegetas for these teams. And now, out of the five of the new ones, 3 of them aren't allowed for these teams also.
I mean, you could always drop your Vegeta.
No.
But not everyone can, though.
Look,
think,
Vegetas are the better characters in the league. There's very few teams that would consider dropping. ED's probably the closest to considering, and I don't think they would.
And, honestly, ED has other options. Like, they can start him. Like, I think last season he was in Super Saiyan form. Okay, if that didn't work, try base form. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot more work that, like, as GM said, ED probably is the closest to dropping a Vegeta out of any of them. But, I mean...
And they never would.
Yeah. I mean, unless, you want to convince the Saiyans to drop King Vegeta for Nappa.
No, King Vegeta wouldn't do anything. King Vegeta doesn't count on that list.
It's
sorry.
It's Scouter the issue.
Yeah, and good luck making that case.
Spoiler, King Vegeta sucks.
You don't know, new game.
He sucks in terms of his stats. His stats are
Also,
just garbage.
This is as good a time as any to mention this. Make sure you test all your guys. This is an entirely new game. They modded it. Something's gonna break.
So
we'll get more into it a little later. I just want to finish my thought though with saying, I understand the rule for the Vegetas, and I agree with it being a rule. I don't like that 3 out of the 5 new free agents are restricted for these 4 teams. I think it heavily restricts them.
It's not only that. It's not like there was much of a way for us to even fight for it, because if you want to think about it, a lot of teams that have the Vegetas were decent rankings or at least towards the top.
Yes, but that's not always the case. That happened to be the case.
I'm just talking about Zenny-wise. I'm talking about Zenny-wise.
Yeah, I know.
To give an example of what Motor's talking about, for example, let's say Afterlife decided to drop End Goku for End Vegeta. They are now banned from Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta, Base Vegito, and Super Gogeta, and they're at the bottom of the league.
Yeah.
And, while End Vegeta might help with that by himself, I can understand where Jones coming from, but on the one hand, I understand where the staff's coming from too. I think the rule is a good one, but I think it also brings up the question of why Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta and not Super Saiyan 4 Goku, with respect to that rule, and maybe something to look forward to.
Rugrats.
What are you talking about?
It's because of Rugrats, because they can use Super Saiyan 4.
That's a good
Goku
point.
through transformation. They don't want to do that.
You're right. We do have access to that.
Yeah,
I forgot we had access.
That's the whole reason. I questioned it for like half a second, and then I remembered.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I will, disregarding that, I do have a sorta solution. They can obviously mod damage to Rush Blast as they did with Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta, and I don't mind his being over the top because he is a standard Vegeta, and I don't mind this season all of them being over the top in the Vegeta category of being banned. But I do hope, and I'm going to make a point about it directly in a suggestion thread, that it is considered next season their Rush Blast damages get lowered, because I don't think it's fair to teams who should be able to fight for top players not be able to get it.
I don't know if it's the fact that they just get good Rush Blast that make them Vegeta rules.
It is. That's all that matters.
Are you sure?
Pretty sure.
All right. I just think that it's because that.
No, maybe not. I'm pretty sure that's the main factor.
That's probably a significantly contributing factor, but there's also the thing of, historically Vegetas have just generally been very strong characters.
I don't like that argument though, because historically, but the league keeps changing.
Yeah.
Historically, this should be considered a year 0 for the league. Just for the record.
Yeah, I mean,
Season 6 was the last year you could look back and say, okay, that makes sense. I can use that.
Yeah, I mean, you've got Season 7 and 8 that will also count. But, I mean, we've also got, realistically, season 9 is going to be another soft reset for the league for
Yep.
two big reasons. One is just the modding in general, and the fact, going off Carrion's point earlier about testing. Look, the modding broke the trainer. You got to make sure that just that alone should be enough to make you say, "Oh crap! If it broke the trainer, what else might it have broken?"
Oh, they explicitly stated that it has caused certain changes in how AI
Yeah,
function.
and there's
Jiro and 19, for some reason, suck up more.
yeah.
too. I
I-
hate you.
I'm not a fan.
Oh, does that mean
We'll
that we
get
might
there.
see the return?
We'll get
of
there,
a
but I'm not a
certain-
fan.
Yeah. But I wasn't gonna go there. But the other thing
Hey,
is,
doesn't Super 17 get suck up beans too?
Yeah, he
That's
does
what they
it
didn't
too.
touch on.
He does it too.
All right,
Yeah,
that's what
he
I
does it
thought.
too.
They didn't touch on it. I was like,
They
I'm
mentioned
sure
it
he
in
does.
passing.
yeah.
Mentioned it in passing.
it was in passing. But the other reason why people need to test is the fact that in order to do modding, we had to change the version of the game that we're using. I
It's
believe.
USA now, right?
Yeah, so it's now the North American version of the game, whereas I think previously we were using the European version.
Yeah, I can
Yep.
confirm that it was.
So between those two things, like this is, if you haven't started requesting tests, now's the time to really start redoing tests.
when I say it's year zero, I mean it's year zero.
Yeah.
Everything you learned the past season doesn't matter.
I wouldn't say everything,
would-
but like you should take everything with a grain of salt.
Right.
Okay, that's a
Like,
fair point.
I don't think so. Now, I don't think like everything we've learned the past two seasons just goes out the window. But this is definitely the time to start looking at tests and making sure that if you had ideas about what you wanted to do in this upcoming season, you need to get those prioritized ideas tested now, before and not during the preseason.
Yeah.
So
Basically, season 7 was considered a soft reset, but it was about as soft as a brick wall. This is a true soft reset.
where we're all just falling through a mountain of pillowcases.
Yeah, let's take your time.
So, so let's get on to your pet topic before moving on to the characters already in the league. Sin Shenron.
Hey man, he's now pretty bad in one department because he's kind of like Nappa, but he's at the best part of Nappa.
Yeah, you love that
Yeah.
B2.
I love that B2. I can't believe it was that much more powerful on Sin Shenron, but I love that B2.
Yep.
Because the AI doesn't use it in a range it can't hit usually.
Imagine
Yep.
this state of difficulty broke Nappa and he uses Blaze Storm more.
Unfortunately, I've recognized the pattern of the cheaper B2 is usually the one that uses more. There's certain AI that don't, but you have to have the correct charge rate, as in you have to have a good charge rate, and it's so much shit.
Hey, in the MVP tournament, we saw Cell spamming those Kamehameha, those 3-bar Kamehamehas, and he wouldn't touch that barrage death beam. That's 2 bars.
Yeah, but he has a good charge rate, and 3 bars ain't much. Nappa has a crap charge
Well,
rate.
he was
and it's
also on
4
Halo
bar.
in that.
Yeah. Well,
But yeah,
fair enough.
So, but yeah, no, it'll be interesting to see. Like, I definitely see all these characters realistically being top 20, just based off of like what we're seeing alone. I mean, to be fair, a lot of their B2s were either their B2 costs for a lot of them were up to 4 bars, and in some cases their natural charge rate was nerfed.
Yeah. I'll
so-
say 2 things. I want to say 2 things. First, we don't really go over Sin Shenron too well. First of
Yeah.
all, he's got an amazing trap shooter, best character in the league. Second,
It's super trap shooter.
Hey, fuck
It's
yeah.
gonna
And it tracks.
lose his mind.
it's a tracking trap shooter. You can't get away from it. You're going to lose no matter what.
I
Second
guarantee
up.
you, Pip doesn't know about it, and he's gonna lose his mind.
Yeah,
Week
Yeah.
one's gonna be amazing.
If he hasn't watched the update video, that is.
He hasn't. Trust me. I can't wait. I just can't.
yeah, he might be in 4x3 beforehand, but it'd be awesome if he wasn't. Second, his Blazing Storm. I just want to explain it a little more in specific. It's got shorter range, does far less damage. It was a 10k, now it's an 8.5k, and it's slower. It's fair. He's a more rounded character now. It's good.
The peanut gallery is agreeing with you.
Those are all chants.
I should watch that movie. But yeah.
Right. My other thing was, now that there's so many strong, like really high level free agents out in the pool instead of just mediocre, low, and then like 2 to 3 amazing ones, I think it's going to be really interesting. A lot of the actually weak teams are going to be able to compete with the insane teams, androids, on a more even playing field.
Androids are a weak team. They had a bad season, and they're going to be unbeatable this year.
They had a bad season. What was their record?
Yeah, record was 9-6, but we're in West Kai.
Yeah, but your record.
We're in
That's
West
a bad
Kai.
season for you. That's a bad season for you. West Kai was my home.
Dude.
He built a house there.
Honestly, if we're being serious about this, there's like 7 teams that can stop androids from getting 17, and some of them have Vegetas.
Oh, yeah.
I know that. None of them have Vegetas, actually.
I'm just like, what I'm saying is a lot of the teams that are above the androids also had a very good free agent, or chances are they didn't, but they had an exceptional year, an exceptional season, and they'll still need a good free agent to get them through things.
Yep.
Inu's going to need a good free agent still. This is just how it works.
Mm-hmm.
They did amazing without an amazing free agent, but I think if they really want to compete, they need one. Derp is definitely going to need one because Nova is going to leave a bit of a hole, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it'll be interesting, but that's for another point in time. I'm very interested to see Derp too. But anyway, let's just stick on changes they announced.
Yeah,
I think that's better. All right. So
my general point was, I think this new list of free agents is going to make it so more lower tier teams can be competitive.
Yeah, and the other big thing is with the addition of a returning character and these new free agents, I mean, the worst of the free agents will probably not be used again, which will be very nice. I mean, although to be fair, this could change in future seasons where other changes might make them more palatable.
I don't think we'll be seeing Nova ever again. It was horrible.
Too much.
Frieza Soldier.
He got buffed.
Yeah, he did get buffed. And, let's use that as a segue to talk about the modded characters that are in the league.
Who do we want to talk about first out of the unique mods?
Let's bring up the Star. He took off a season, and he's back to show his dominance.
The champ is back.
Yeah, the champ is back.
And he's good.
And
oh boy,
where do we start?
I got it. Dynamic Messamo Punch is now the most broken B2 in the game.
It has priority. It can't clash, in other words. It always does damage. His other B2 has priority. You can't even melee him because of it.
I'll tell you how to build Herc right now. Key plus however much you can throw on him with a spam AI. He's gonna do so.
And you should also give him Draconic Aura. I know that it doesn't clash Dynamic Messamo Punch, but the fact that he won't lose regular clashes either, means he has more chances to pull it off.
Oh, and he's no longer on a single master list either.
Yep. He is on at least Earth Defenders and
Derp. He's on those 2 teams.
Yep.
I think he's only on Earth Defenders and Derp.
Yeah, that's it. I don't agree with them putting him on Earth Defenders. I understand they want there to be competition over him. They don't want to just hand it to Derp. But I don't think making competition between Derp and a team that is significantly better in terms of a base roster is a good idea.
I think I would agree with you on that.
ED has one of the best master list options, and their base roster is stacked.
Yeah. I mean, to be completely honest, like even with as good as Herc is, I honestly the only one I might take Herc, like the only one that might reasonably be dropped is mid Goku, and
Yeah.
I don't know that.
I'd take that free agent.
Yeah,
Here's the thing: he'd be picked up by another team in an instant.
yeah. I mean, and mid Goku would be instantly picked up, and you'd be locked in with the champ, and that's not something that I'm sure I would do.
Here's the
Um,
thing:
We're definitely considering testing Hercule. That's what
Yeah.
we're talking about right now.
I will say it depends because Herc looks like he might be a niche enough character where he's too good at what he does, and he also there's been a bit of a change to his Rush Blast as well as Vidal's
Yep.
and I forgot who else's, but they are no longer Rush Blast. They have
It's
the
just
Nom
like-
effect.
Yeah,
Oh, it was Super Saiyan Woman was the other one.
Yeah. The Vidals. They have the Nom Rush Blast, which is basically a stun punch, or stun kick, which
But
is
they,
immensely powerful in terms of mid combo play. Because there's been plenty of times where characters with Rush Blast are punching you, and then they switch to Rush Blast, and then the Rush Blast ends, and they get punched, or the opponent has Light Buddy, and they get punched. But with a stun, you just continue your melee, and you never end.
And from what we hear too, the AI is aware of this. It doesn't just try to keep using it like randomly. No, it is aware of the change and is actually using it smartly. From what we're
Yeah.
hearing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it recognizes it's a stun kick or a stun punch.
Mhm.
It's
Mhm.
amazing. And I
Yeah,
think
no.
I know he doesn't do a lot of his melee's been increased a little, but it still doesn't do a lot of damage. He's going to be more effective in melee, though. He's going to be able to
Yeah.
set stuff up.
the fact is melee stuns like on normal levels is a giant buff.
Oh my god.
oh
it's
yeah,
a giant buff.
I'm honestly a little annoyed that they got that. Just a little. Because I feel like it's going to be a bigger buff than it sounds like.
I
Yep.
think the Tramp will get nerfed next season, if I'm going to be honest, because I think he's going to throw out a bunch of B2s. Next nerf, it's going to be like 100%, and like that's not fun to go against, especially like if you got someone
He's
like
natural.
his
His
two
natural charge rate
B2s
is nice.
are. They said he has the highest natural charge rate in the game, which is dumb. Let's throw that out there. The fact is that he's got two things that break combos and are just generally annoying to go against. And part of the fun about dynamic mess one punch is that it can miss.
Yeah.
I
He's also
think,
got false courage.
Yeah, he's really good. All of, like naturally, if you can find an AI that does halfway decent on him, he's gonna be.
It's gonna be
I can
insane.
see him being top
No.
15.
Well-
I'm being dead serious.
the other thing
Mhm.
is I'm not 100% sure about this, but I think, like, I do think that dynamic mess punch can clash, or at least it used to.
They said it
Um,
gave him priority.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
they
that's what they said.
said that, but I seem to like. It
I
maybe just-
remember it clashing also, but maybe there's something different with the new
And-
game. I don't know.
Maybe.
Yeah,
I do
maybe.
remember once that they made a joke about how Yamcha just punched Hercule or something out of like a present or something.
Yeah, and the other thing is like present bomb Herc has been knocked out of present bomb before, but the reason why they joke about it is because it happened like once a season.
I think isn't he vulnerable from the back with it?
I don't remember the exact
Yes,
instances of it.
and it also
But he generally
basically
throws it when he's about a foot in front of your face.
Yeah,
so it's really hard to
It-
dodge.
That's
It-
horrible.
it basically has the range of a grab. Like if he's not right in front of you, like the animation will start and he'll hold out the present, but if you're not like right in front of him, you don't take damage because we saw Gotenks like when like he was just outside of the range of it and Gotenks just flew away, and I think there was one other time where it was either Gotenks or Yamcha or someone, right outside the range of present bomb, and then they threw a B2 in his face.
Yeah, no, it's not a perfect B2. It's a good one, I think, in terms of
Yeah.
that style B2, and it's the fact it's get priority over everything is insane. And it's like
Yeah.
it's an instant activation, so it's got a lot of benefits. But
Oh.
again, it's a very short range.
Yeah, it is very short range, and like realistically, like the only thing that I'm not a big fan of is the fact that they made dynamic mess up punch do so much damage for
7,500, right?
that one was 7,000.
Okay,
I'm
the,
okay with
yeah.
that. I'm okay with that.
For her, my issue is more
That's
with
the
the fact
boosted
that
version, right? 7,000 boosted.
7,000 space.
yeah, 7,000's base.
Ah, okay.
And my problem with it is more that if something has changed and it doesn't clash with anything and it's an auto hit, that thing
That's
tracks.
busted.
It's busted, and the damage is too high. Like I would be fine with it at maybe 5,000.
And if we're looking at, go ahead, sorry.
And I mean, and that's maybe pushing it.
I would be okay with 6,000 because clashing a Rush B2 isn't the most common way to stop them. Usually they're blocked or just purely dodged.
Yeah.
It's a fast one and it does track, but both those things can happen, and you can also punch it out, I believe.
But
that's not common, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
As far as I'm concerned, I'm with Malachi as far as about the damage being too high, because I think the old dynamic maximum punch. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think he did like 10,000, right around there, right?
What? No. The
No.
old one? It did 7,000.
Yeah,
It was
It was
a
only
weak one.
7,000.
Yeah,
It wasn't very good.
It was
Okay.
only 7,000, but the thing to remember is that,
It only
especially
hit
on the
7.
on the old difficulty, when Herc was good and a threat, like they usually had. My recollection is they had Super +2 on him a lot,
Yeah, it's Super
And-
Plus 2 and Clash.
and Clash,
bonuses up
and
the bus.
then
Okay, that's
and
why
then-
it seemed like it did way more.
yeah,
But anyway, so
And-
my point being is that it only hit 50% of the time there. So that means the developers of the game expected him to do about 4,000 per bomb, and we just doubled that. That's an insane
the
boost.
developers of the game didn't expect the game to be balanced in terms of characters at all.
Yeah.
They made the
No.
characters to try and fit the characters in the show. That's
Yeah,
the
But
the
Derp's or Herc showing potential to be top 10 in the league. You just gave him an Uber.
I don't know what
before
goes
these
that far.
mods, I'd say he's still the worst character. Before these mods, he's the worst character. No.
Yeah, but he's not like I would argue Gildo is worse than Herc.
I think Goldo can push it a little farther than Herc can, because Herc has a little more potential, but Goldo's consistently just
Awful.
a little, consistently awful, but not consistently. But he never hits as low as Herc does.
Yeah,
He can always pull at least 15 to 20k. Herc has his 5 straight weeks of 100k probably. He's horrible. Yeah,
Alright,
that's
alright.
my view.
so
He has a broader range, but also a far
yeah,
lower.
so I think we've kind of exhausted the topic a bit there, and we're just kind of getting into speculation a bit. Needless
Yeah.
to say, I think at least for me, I do. While I am concerned, I do think that the staff, I know the staff has tested this out the wazoo, and it'll be interesting to see how season 9 goes with that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind him being an above-average character.
Yeah, in terms of the jokes around the champ, I'm fine with him being turned into an above-average character, and I like that because it just gives us more options, especially if no one picks him up as a regular character. But if
I'm just gonna say he's gonna be breezy to build.
Yeah.
Super +1 or Super +2, Clash and some key stuff.
Yep.
Golden.
an easy build for him, Super +2, Dragon Power, Launch of Support, and then Indignation.
Again, find Spirit, Indignation if you want. Save the Savior.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
it's-
whatever. So let's move on to the next big change, being for this coming season being Yajirobe, and
The Bean Daddy.
having the Bean Daddy lose all his beans.
I dropped them. I can't do his voice at all.
He
It,
just
it
ate
takes
them all.
it,
He just
it
ate
takes a
them all.
while.
It-
Yeah. No, before that,
All right. So honestly,
Corin's mad.
I think that it's a. I don't think it's like a buffer. I think it's just a change. Like I don't think he gets especially better. I think Blades get better because they now have access to Eternal Life, healing more consistently. But I don't know if Yajirobe himself gets much better through.
So, in terms of the character, I think it will be.
Yep.
I think the buff is mostly in the fact that you can actually test with all the other AIs and see if it's better than what we've seen so far.
I kind of want to gleam over him quickly because I think everyone has the same opinion on him.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
More AI, you can test him. He's basically a character without one view.
Yeah. The other note for him is he also had his rocks changed to key blasts.
Yeah, so they're useful.
So
And the reason the reason given for staff that he didn't get the nom effect, he had a slash for his energy. So
yep, and
made more sense.
Made more sense.
But
Which is
I was
fine.
like, cool. I was like, they told me that. I was like, golden. But I do think that him having only the ability to use the max power B1, that's pretty good. Like that's I think I'm underrating that. I think that's pretty good.
The biggest buff is that he can use B1 Pataras now.
Yep.
If give him Dragon Spirit and watch his blast
Holy
stocks increase at the most retarded rate.
Because doesn't he have the highest
He has
blast
Yes.
stock charge rate?
He has the highest B1 charge rate because the developer said we wanted him to use more sensu beans.
Yeah.
And
Well, he used it too much.
He ran out.
no, Corn let him open up the taco shop with sensu beans.
Oh, that's an
Bean
amazing.
patties.
All right. Let's make a pact right here. If any of us gets enough money to change something in the game with the mod, we have to make it that whenever perk or to change super unyielding spirit on Yajirobe to I ran out of beans.
Yeah, we'll
that's
talk
like-
about that in a little while. So
Yeah,
let's move on and talk about probably my favorite change. Giro and 19
I wonder why it's your favorite.
no longer will they suck health, they will just suck ki, but, and here's the big thing, they now act like regular androids and can passively charge all the way up.
Charge pretty slow, but they do it at least.
Yeah, they do it at least. It's not terrible. It's not, 19's is still a little worse than Giro's, but I mean the charge rate's not terrible for an android. It probably is a little. It's definitely worse than like 17 or 18's, but I mean it's not. It's not
the worst.
insurmountable.
I will say, I do say, they're a lot better, but I think the biggest boost to your team and to teams with these characters, that they don't penalize their teams with EL negatives anymore.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that was, now, so for those who don't know, like, one of the reasons why this got through is because last season, at the end of last season, I had asked the staff to look at potentially giving Giro and 19 a free, basically ULP1, because, for those who don't know, Giro and 19 would only passively charge 2 bars like all the other non-Android characters, and that would basically mean they couldn't use their B2s without grabbing people. And on the new difficulty, grabs get blocked all the time.
Hence why you didn't see him that much.
Hence why Giro was firmly placed on the free agent bench for Season 8. And if you look at Season 7, he had like 3 weeks in the main season where he was above 40k.
Yeah.
So,
There was a sort of view of him being insane, though, with the grabs, because he had like some crazy. I think season 6.
because I put him on Broly AI and Boo AI, which were a lot more grab happy than people realized.
Oh.
And
Broly AI has always been grab happy. I don't know how it's not like been
I think
considered for banning.
I think it's only because no one really paid attention to it until I threw it on Giro against the Boos and watched Giro just life drain evil Boo to death.
Here's like the only reason I know about it is because it was one of the first AIs we had tested on Raditz, and he would not stop grabbing. It's like he's midway through an awesome combo, and then he tries to grab.
Yeah,
Grabbing's
Yeah,
not
I-
a bad thing.
No, grabbing's a horrible thing when you don't have a fast grab, and most
I
people do.
disagree.
I'm sorry, when you're midway through a combo, it ruins the combo.
Yeah.
If Broly I was good in the old difficulty for Raditz for everything except for the fact that it would try to grab so much. It ruined his combos. It ruined his momentum.
I can definitely see that, and that was one reason why, and that actually goes into why I never used Jiro in Season 8, is because if Jiro can't grab, he can't get ki above 2 bars, so he was always out of energy, and because he's using it to do stuff. So
I have no idea how strong they're going to be. I don't think they'll be insane. I think they'll be average. That's my assumption right now.
I tend to agree. Like, I think Jiro and 19 with this change can both be 40k characters very consistently. Like, I don't think you'll see the Jiro rampages of old, though.
I think it depends. I think their ability to still drain energy is a big thing. But the biggest thing is, how often are they going to suck up B2s?
Yes.
Because that can change a match.
That's the X factor.
That's the X factor, because can you imagine?
No longer.
Well, no Supernova, no Father-Son Kamehameha.
Oh, God.
Can he suck up Supernova?
Yes.
Yep. Anything energy.
Anything energy he can suck up. The only exception that I know of are finger beams.
Special beam can?
Special beam cannon and finger beams.
Yeah. I was going to say,
So
special beam
anything that
cannon
pierces,
never
basically.
loses.
What was that, Motork?
Anything that has a little bit of a piercing effect.
It's finger beams in general. I don't, because there's like other stuff like King Vegeta's execution beam that is a one-hit thing, not like a regular Kamehameha, which hits several times. But I'm pretty sure he'd be able to suck that up.
Yeah.
This is regular beam.
I think it's basically anything that can technically clash can be sucked up by Jiro.
Okay, I think that's probably the class. That should be the clarifier. Because I don't think he can suck up super energy wave volleys.
Can he suck up
Yes,
King
he can.
Cold's full death beam? Yeah.
That I'm not sure about.
He can't suck up super energy wave volleys?
Yes.
Holy cow.
I would actually like to see what was his attack name? The giant death ball and muscle. SS Deadly Bomber.
SS Deadly Bomber.
I would love to see that sucked
Oh,
up,
that would be
actually.
hilarious.
Look, if they do it consistently, like not too consistently, like maybe once every other match or every 3 matches, it's gonna become a running gag in the league.
Yeah.
It might already be a running gag.
Because they're gonna suck up some stupid stuff.
Mm-hmm. It's gonna be like when Cell Jr. Solar Flare out of a Father-Son.
Yep.
It's gonna be a similar thing.
Yep. All right.
Okay. Moving on.
Yep. So I was going to say, unless anyone has further comments,
We should speed through the next bit.
Yeah.
They're pretty simple.
Yeah. Oh, well, we can't ignore Geome's favorite topic and character to talk about.
Oh, I just love this guy.
Nova. How can we not talk about him?
The best character in the game made the league so balanced that I almost wanted to leave.
Yep. So the demon has been rightly nerfed.
But it's not like stupid nerfs. Like I was expecting a hammer, and it was just like touch here, touch there.
It was probably a good almost super -1 in terms of nerfing.
Worse. I think he's worse than the other new free agents, so I'm happy.
That
in terms of
to be
pure
seen.
stats.
How bad did they say they nerfed his charge rate again? I remember they said they nerfed it.
They nerfed it. I don't think they said how much.
Just a little. It's not enough. Nothing crazy. He can still spam.
Yeah,
right,
he can still spam.
I still think he's good.
He will still be good. He will not be
top 25.
Unless someone decides to pull a Gohans and not change their builds for 7 weeks, even when they're not working. I don't.
That's what he needs. He needs Dragonagora.
Don't listen to him.
He needs Dragonagora.
Wasn't that a title held by the Blades at one point? not
What?
changing their builds.
It was the Namix for a season and a half.
Well, with the Blades, the thing was the coach really wasn't there.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't remember what the thing with the Namix was. I think that was a similar situation.
Yeah, the coach sort of died halfway through the season, is what I heard, or he was like super busy.
Yeah.
Zal knows more about it.
Yeah.
We'll interrogate him in private later.
So I don't want to hold those situations there, but like in this case, it was more the team was there and they thought the builds were good, and they just didn't change them until like week 7 or 8, and
It was, yeah.
it was so unless someone decides to do that again, I don't think we'll see another Nova slaughter like that. And honestly, I don't think any of the other new free agents are at the level where they could pull off a similar slaughter.
I think 17 might be.
And it depends on how much he
I-
spams.
I think
He's
he's one of the more likely out of them.
I'd
Well,
agree with
you
more
know,
likely. I don't think it's gonna
I,
happen.
I don't think it'll happen
not
either.
not
Out
with
of
that
everyone, I'd give it
Hellstorm
to
only doing 6,000.
No, I understand it doing 6,000, but he's still an android who can spam easily, and I doubt his melee's any bad. It's
Also-
bad, so.
Did they discuss if Nova's EL ban is still a thing? Because I don't think they touched that.
I don't think
I
they
would
did.
Assume
I
it's
would
still a
assume-
thing
yeah.
until they revoke it publicly. Because there's been a lot of stuff that they left on, like they've made rules about and they left on and then weren't changed until
Till someone
a
brought it up.
significant amount. Yeah, until a significant amount of time after they were already irrelevant.
Yeah.
Or there's some stuff that I personally feel are still there that are irrelevant.
Yeah.
That's for another day, though.
I would assume it's still there, and honestly, I mean, if we're gonna go that direction, I mean, with all these other free agents, we might want to see, now of course, if they start to be another Nova situation, we could probably expect to see similar limitations placed on them like that.
Mhm.
So, but-
Yeah. Anyway, Nova's gonna be okay.
Yeah.
He'll be a good boy this season.
I
Yep.
think I like I said, I still think he's got top 5 potential.
oh yeah, no,
But
there's still high potential. I don't, but we'll have to see.
Yeah. By the way, there was just like something in the Zcast that made me very happy. It was before Nova's nerfs were revealed, and because of this thing, I knew that his nerfs would be kind of harsh. During the Vegito thing, they said they had to nerf him even more after the initial nerf because he was still pulling around 70k on average.
That
And-
just shows.
Yeah,
It
it
shows
shows
his-
some insanity,
Yeah,
and then you realize there was a character who did that in the league. So I was like, okay, 100% certain they nerfed Nova. I am very happy that they consider 70k too much.
yeah.
all right.
All right.
All right.
But
So I think-
But the thing I'm worried about is the fact that he did that without a powered up build. So I'm just worried when it's an actual build on him.
I don't know.
Well,
I think they gave him real
they,
builds.
they probably gave
Yeah.
him real builds toward like after assessing like what the base damage and things like that were. They probably did real build testing to see what he was doing, because that's the only way you're gonna start seeing like 70, 80k damage anyway is when they're fighting multiple people.
Or they had Roshi's.
Yeah. Or
Training.
the,
Anyway.
anyway,
Next thing.
so yeah, that brings us to the next big change, which were all the defense changes to a number of characters. As many of us are aware, there's a number of characters in the league that have built-in either defense positives or defense negatives, with defense negatives being a little more common. So with the
It's
staff,
almost like there's more of them than there are base.
so what the staff did is for characters who had more than defense, a -2 to defense. So basically, they were taking an extra 10% of damage compared to base characters, or more than that. They reduced them to a defense -2, and for a couple characters who were at defense -2 they knocked it down to defense -1 or base for different
Notably,
reasons.
Goldo, Chi-Chi, and Kid Goku.
Yep.
Chi-Chi and Kid Goku because that entire team of Drama Warriors has these negatives and just balance out the playing field for them a little.
Yep.
Also Chi-Chi. And then Goldo because, come on.
Give the guy a bone.
Yep. They had to give. So.
Or a biscuit.
Well, with Goldo in particular, like, Ginyu has to have Goldo, and I mean, I don't know that it will fix Goldo by any stretch of the imagination, but I mean, maybe. Well, who knows? Maybe
Let me see into the future. No.
the future has called, and it said no.
No.
Well, who knows? Maybe now that we're on a different version of the game, Goldo will be ranked #1. We can hope, right?
I think the day that happens,
Are we like flipping?
I think Guillaume will sell his computer, go work on a farm, and live an honest life.
The first two might happen. I will never live an honest life.
But yeah, so let me just go run down the whole list real quick. Chi-Chi, Videl, and Say a Woman. Well, no. Did Videl have any defense buffs?
Yep.
Okay.
She was she was either already 2 or she was a -3 and went up to 2.
Okay. Goldo, Frieza Soldier, Kid Goku, Chaozu, Babidi, and then Herc. And I don't think Yaj had Yaj in that section for other reasons.
Because there's also Rush Blast changes.
Yep. So, but yeah. So apparently Babidi and Frieza Soldier were at defense -4. They got pushed up to defense -2.
Which is going to help them a lot.
It should. I mean, Babidi might now be more viable because he was already. I mean, he struggles on the new difficulty, but I mean, he wasn't. It wasn't like he was struggling to break 30K. He was.
No.
He.
I think he can make. I know Kaio's feelings towards Spopo are Spopo's a good character for one of their weaker ones. I personally feel Babidi can make a very strong effort to replace him on the starting lineup, especially with the defense not being an issue. And the only real issue being he's very predictable in how to counter him.
Yeah.
Pack your team with Clash Boost.
Yes, but if you do that, you pull something stupid like switch him out, and then all that points is for naught. So mind game.
Yeah. No, it gives options, flexibility, and also rigidness in different ways.
Yeah, Chaozu also got a nice buff.
From 3 to a 2, right?
Yep.
Speaking of Babidi, though, have we gone through all the characters with the defense pluses? Because Chaozu was the last one, right?
This is this section. I don't know that we're going in any particular order.
Oh, okay. Well, generally, no one's below -2 now. That's the
Pretty
whole.
much.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Frieza Soldier.
Yeah.
Yep.
Since we were talking about Babidi, let's go into the fact that no teams are forced to have a certain character anymore. Herc isn't forced on Derp. Babidi's not forced on Majins. And what's his face?
Goku is not allowed. It's not forced on the Earth Defenders.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Oh, this reminds me. Kaio has one less reason now not to pick up Super Boo. Because if he really doesn't like Babidi,
Yeah, that's a good point. Well, I think didn't Kaio
and no one can pick up
step down?
Babidi either.
Didn't Kaio step down from coaching, or am I thinking of just Durangel?
Nope.
I think just sure did.
Okay.
Yeah. The coaches who dropped are Durangel, Zal, Sisbon, and myself.
Okay.
We're free.
I didn't know Sith did. That's a major blow to W.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. They're still around, I think.
Yeah, and
Just not the coaches.
yeah, and I think FCD might be looking for. FCD made a couple sense that made me think he was stepping down, but I don't think he is.
No, he only had one season on a new team. Like,
Yeah.
stay.
Yep.
Especially since, like, he was a minors coach for a while, and then he finally got the chance to try out for a majors team that he wanted, and he got it. And I would be very surprised if he would drop from this.
Yeah. I would be too. Yeah. I don't know. There's too much to say here. I mean, it's nice to see that there's no restrictions on team characters now, other than theme.
If you just allow me, and I know I'm a little biased, Kyle, because I had him on my team for a while. And I feel like he's part of the family. Super Boo Man. You don't like Bobbity. You don't want to drop Spopo because Bustle can pick him. If you think you're gonna bench Bobbity the entire season, give him a look.
Yeah.
Give him a look. He's a very good melee character.
He's good melee. I mean, he also doesn't
Especially
he break
with a full melee build. Pure attack, brilliant on him.
I mean, not
Yeah, semi breaks also. Yeah.
yeah, not that it matters anymore for the most part, but yeah.
Well, if you go up against Broly,
Yeah, I mean that's about it.
my
Or Saiyans.
team, yeah, then you got a way of dealing with him a little better.
Yeah.
Majin Vegeta and him and Maju, it's got a bunch of semi breakers actually.
Yeah. So, all right. So I don't know. There's too much other things to say there, other than, you know, maybe in the future as modding progresses, and maybe we can get some. You know, I know staff has already said things on this where, you know, that's way in the future, and only if they can find pre-created stuff. But who knows? Maybe there will be a future where all the teams have at least one person where they can always swap out.
That would be nice.
Because that's really the only team limitation left.
Yeah, I think for Cole it'd be one of the non-canon characters, either Chilled or Frieza's kid. And I think for Ginyu it has to be Saiyaman in our own fictional world where he has accepted what
Frog?
he rightfully has been doing
Hold on.
subconsciously, being a Ginyu Force member.
Oh no, like it would have to be Jiren, you know.
No. The perfect character that we need to mod into this for the Ginyu Force, so they can so they can stand a chance. Frog Ginyu.
Frog Ginyu would be an amazing. Can we have that as an option for his alt though?
Oh, that would be beautiful.
And can we have that be the strongest version of his alt?
Yeah, but yeah,
His
no,
melee's out of this world.
but yeah, no.
He is so small, no one can ever hit him.
I would like to say I don't think they'll be doing that for a while though, adding new characters.
Yeah.
But I do hope they find a way to mod skins, because that is something everyone's gonna love.
Yep.
It would be
And-
nice.
Go
I
ahead.
was gonna say it would be nice if we could put like Dragon Ball versions of like Krillin.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Dragon Ball version of Krillin would look funny as hell. I'd love that.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe in the future, but
Mhm. You
wait,
can
wait,
fit on Rugrats with that.
wait. But if that's also the case, couldn't he also be technically on Dragon Ball Warriors? But just be forced on that costume all the time?
Yeah, I
I
guess you could make that argument, but maybe B2 wise he wouldn't.
he's already on Dragon Ball Warriors list.
Oh, is he?
Yep.
Oh yeah, because he was that big during
Yeah,
the
because
King
he was
Pic- the junior
exactly.
Oh right.
Yeah.
I forgot about
Piccolo
that.
Junior saga.
Yep.
I will say that in regards to skins, there's something else that they are doing this season. They're similar, and all
Yep.
for fun. But you gotta pay for it because this is a capitalist community. Name changes to moves,
Yep.
which are so brilliant.
So
Love them.
yep.
I'm
So
sad they're
so
limiting it to
excited.
just. I'm sad it's just B2s because there's so many other stuff
well,
that could be done, but it's
it-
still awesome.
it's just B2s for now. They did say that in the future there may be
Yes.
B1 options.
There's no alts either. It's just B2s.
Oh, that
So-
was a qualification they made too.
I
don't remember
think
that.
so.
But
I remember. I could have sworn. I asked about alts and they said just B2s.
Okay. I'll
I'll check.
Yeah, we can check on that later. Yeah, like this should be pretty cool. I know some people have joked around, having Cyborg Tao's Hidden Blade be renamed to Rusty Knife, and um, the one thing I'm
That'd
a
be great.
the one thing I'm not too sure about is like spending Zenny for one season when this might be something that persists over multiple seasons. I'm not 100% sure what I think about that yet. Um,
I think it's something that gets refreshed every season. I think that's how they're looking at it.
yeah, I mean, I'm not. My thing is I'm not sure. I can get behind renaming it. I'm just not sure how I feel about it being you know, because what's gonna inevitably happen is some moves are gonna get forgotten over seasons as no one changes them. So but yeah, that was something they were still looking at. So
Yeah.
I said I'm not
I
sure. I'm just not certain about spending Zenny for it.
yeah, that kind of shocked me. I'd be okay. I thought it would have made more sense if it was just like every team has one free switch. That would have been
Yeah.
because like Zenny for something like that, I don't think it's going to be used a lot because of it. I will say though, I kind of hope they consider permanently changing some move names if the entirety of the league is behind it, or like 99% of the league's behind it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I already know one for cold. That's perfect.
Share.
Do you remember? If any of you watched Dragon Ball Z Abridged, they need to rename Full Power Frieza's energy disc to Here's Your Pizza.
No, it's got to be deep dish double pizza.
Yep. Yeah, well, no, I mean, there's certainly some things that, like, I think the league could, as a whole, would definitely get behind, like renaming Trap Shooter to It's Over, or what would be another good one?
Frieza, final form Frieza's all too. This will take 5 minutes.
Yeah,
I think Goku needs a muffin button V2 at some point.
I just name everything Muffin Bun.
You know
That's
what?
got to be one of his B1s. It's got to be one of his B1s.
You know what? No. We're looking at something that we never even considered. Changing some sound effects. Every time Goku gets punched, he needs to squeak.
Oh, every time he gets grabbed,
That-
he needs to squeak.
that would get annoying really fast, I think.
Yeah, it would. I don't think that. I was going to suggest something more specific, but I don't think they could. Man, there's so many awesome. I want to know what their limiter is going to be. They said they'll announce it in the future. I really want to know what the limit for how many words you can have or how long it can be, because I have a very stupid idea. It's purposely made just to annoy Squee and everyone who has to read the B2 name. But if anyone has a rush, I want to rename that rush to exactly what happens. A kick followed by a punch followed by, just basically name it out like that.
Go WWE on it and just name every little thing about it.
Or every Rush B2 is a high-speed clash.
Oh yeah, they already brought that option. Squeeze shut it down. He doesn't want to be right for once.
I'm seriously considering calling Salt headcanon, but we'll run that by the squad.
I kind of wanted just something to be called Squee, you're doing it wrong. Just so Squee
All
has to say
fun
it.
times. All fun times.
Yeah.
I think that the reason we're having so much fun with this, like you said, I don't know if Zenny will be used on it. If we could pull Zenny from like
Yeah.
one Zenny per team, like I don't know if that's the thing they'll let us do, but if we can, that happens so fast.
They
Oh.
will let us do this. They'll let us all change a B2 name at the same time as a united front, because they don't want every team to have the same B2 name. Like, they don't want a million trap shooters, but if it's like the Kevin joke we pulled off with more than half the team trying to kill Kevin, they're cool with that.
Oh, this opens the door to a lot of fun things. Like, I'm trying to remember. So, like, for the muffin button, that should be like the KO can be one.
Oh my gosh, yes. Yes.
Muffin
Oh,
bun.
I'm so excited. And you can change Kaioken attack to Muffin attack. or something like that.
Um,
Give me my muffins. Give me my muffins.
Oh, speaking of sound, the sound audio clip changes that Motok brought up. Every time Goku hits with Kaioken, it's just got to be a voice clip of someone saying Kaio what. It's got to be.
oh no, that's just what we renamed the attack to, like
Kaio
Kaio what? All right.
So fun.
So yeah. So I think
I
we have. Go ahead.
I want to have some fun with it, and I know this sounds like some basic YouTuber crap, but if anyone has fun ideas for names, B2s, feel free to write them down either in the forum or in the comments, because those will just be fun to read.
Oh yeah.
It'll be fun
If
to
I
share
like them,
ideas.
And if I like them,
yeah.
I'll make them happen.
Yeah, you can inspire
Yeah.
any of the teams that watch this, because, hey man, so many minds. You can come up with so many different ideas.
I mean,
Oh yeah.
in this for the laugh. Let's be real here.
Oh yeah.
I do this league for the lulz. No, now I do at least. No more serious time.
Yeah. Well. Speaking of that, that kind of tangents into our last things. You want to run with that?
Yeah, I guess I do. Thanks for. Okay. The YCast is going to be not necessarily holding tryouts like it used to anymore, or at least not for everything. I will still have people do tryouts if they want to participate in such things as the actual podcast that we're doing now and in the main season that we do, because that you need to have basic knowledge of the league in general, and you have to have a working mic and other stuff of that sort. But we also want to open up the YCast to everyone. If you don't have a mic, if you don't even have enough time for a podcast, if you don't have the knowledge or you're not confident enough to speak in a podcast, but you have an idea or you want to help us in some way, or you want your idea to be created and produced, but you don't have the time, we'd love everybody who wants to share and work together to come here, share and work together. I'm not sure of the specifics yet. We'll work it out though. Expect something in a couple weeks, and you'll see something pop up on the forums, and we'll promote it, and hopefully we'll get you guys to jump in and do what you want. We've heard some crazy ideas in Discord before and in the forums that people want to pull off that may sound tough or may sound difficult to do on your own, but with a united effort, it could be a lot easier. Someone once brought up the idea of doing outros that are for the league matches that are in sense similar to Dragonball Z's actual outros, where you got the guy going next time on Dragonball Z. That's cool, but it'd be really tough for one person to do. We'd love that stuff. We'd love ideas. We kind of want to just expand and open up to everyone. We want the YCast to be a full community thing from now on. We'll still do the podcast, obviously. It's the main shtick. That's everything, though, and expect that soon.
Yep.
Unless you guys have any final words, we can end on that, and we can say goodbye.
Bye, people.
Goodbye. It was fun.
Bye-bye.
See ya, folks.